because I realized that my experience growing up in Vietnam is a very different experience than what people here assume the war in Vietnam was about. And very often one thinks that one's perspective is shared by others. And maybe for the Vietnamese community, it's a very vibrant and robust community in Falls Church, Virginia. It's also very vibrant and robust in Orange County. So many Vietnamese Americans who are immersed in the community may not realize that their perspective on the war is very often unshared by the majority. Well, I wouldn't say the majority, but many Americans in the world I am in, which is in universities and higher education. So when I went to college and I went to law school, there was a conference in 1980, 5 years after the end of the Vietnam War. And every conference speaker, I went really not knowing what to expect, but I'm very interested in the war, so I went just to learn. From beginning to end, every conference speaker celebrated the loss of Vietnam, the collapse of Vietnam. And this was in 1980, where there were boat people leaving. Nobody mentioned the boat people. I felt like I was looking at something else. And the speakers talked about how 5 years ago on this day, the people of Vietnam have won. Again, it was upside down, like Humpty Dumpty. I was completely confused. And out of the blue, one day while I was in the subway station, the subway in New York, for those of you who have lived in New York City, you may know that it often stops between stations, and you have no idea why the subway is stuck. I had a paper, a yellow pad, and I just decided to write just that very moment, and that was the beginning of my first novel, Monkey Bridge, which is more about the the Vietnamese American experience in Vietnam. Then in 2005, I started the Lotus in the Storm, which was occasioned by my observation of how the media was portraying the war in Iraq. And I saw a lot of echoes and similarities to Vietnam, so I started writing there as well. So let me just close today again by saying thank you so much for coming. I would like, in addition to all the Vietnamese whom I have already thanked in Vietnamese, I would like in particular in English to acknowledge the presence of General Hunt, who apparently had worked with my dad as well when he was alive, and Mrs. Hunt, as well as Consul General of Shanghai, Mr. and Mrs. Doug Spellman. Also, very important for me, my mother always said, if you have one friend in your life, you're lucky. If you can, because a true friend is very hard to find. And I'm grateful today that Bruce, Freund, and Cindy are here. They're the son and daughter-in-law of Major General John F. Freund, who, when every airplane in the world was flying out of Vietnam, he flew back into Vietnam in the reverse route, took me out, picked me out, and adopted me, lived with his family in Avon, Connecticut. And Mrs. Freund, Margaret, I called Mom, was like a mother to me, watched I Dream of Jeannie with me, taught me a lot of American English words. Very grateful, Bruce and Cindy, that you're here. And also cho con cảm ơn chú Tâm đã lo cho ba con khi mà ba con rất bệnh. Con cảm ơn gia đình không bao giờ quên chú Tâm và thím. Thank you very much.